Today, I'm reviewing Microcivilization. I put about 7.5 hours into it, and I want to be upfront right away. I liked this game, but I didn't love it. It's a well-designed experience with a clear vision, but it fills a very specific niche, and whether you enjoy it or not really depends on what you're looking for. Hi everyone, welcome back to another game review. Microcivilization is best described as a minimalist, systems-driven civilization simulator. It's not grand strategy, at least not in my opinion, but more of a distilled incremental take on the idea of guiding a society from early development to advanced eras. The systems that exist work very well. It's clear the developers had a strong, focused vision. Population, housing, food, disasters, and technology all interact in sensible ways. You have to avoid growing your population too fast so you don't starve everyone, and you can't overbuild housing or you risk fires. That's just an example. Once you understand how these systems work, the game largely runs itself, which is both its strength and its limitation. For me, Microcivilization really shines as a low-attention game. This is the kind of thing I'd play while listening to a podcast, watching a long-form video, or even listening to an audiobook. It's been a long time since I've done that, but I think it's perfect for listening to an audiobook as an example. After the learning phase, it doesn't demand constant focus. You mostly check in, make small adjustments, you respond to crises, you let things run. I mean, you can actually get one of the leader abilities that I really liked that I got was like an auto clicker that would it doesn't click the food automatically, but you can set to where you're automatically growing food. So your population is growing over time. And then if your housing gets too low, then you just switch to where, oh, now I'm building houses. And then the auto clicker will take care of the houses. So you just check in and you respond to a few things. Sometimes you get a crisis here and there and you're like, oh, let me, spend some units and take care of the crisis, and then you rebuild your units, and then you stop. But that's not a criticism. It's just important to understand that this is what kind of experience this game is. If you're looking for a game that requires intense decision-making or constant engagement, something like EU5, this probably isn't it. This probably isn't your game. One of the more interesting aspects of Microcivilization is its roguelike structure, something I haven't really seen before in a strategy game. Each run takes your civilization through the tech tree. You face threats, you overcome crises, you have to complete certain goals in order to unlock different branches of the tech trees, which are different in every run, so that's kind of interesting. And then you can also spend secrets if you don't feel like doing the goal, but if you don't spend your secrets, then you get extra lotuses at the end. Because lotuses are important because at the end, you can do what's called ascend, and you get a special currency called lotuses. You get more of these based on how your civilization does during that run. What you can do is, before you start your next run, you can spend those lotuses to unlock abilities that make future runs easier. Like you can say, oh, every time you click on the wood button, you get 1 extra wood, or 1 extra food, or 1 extra stone. Or like, oh, you can turn on auto research and it'll just research things automatically. Or you can also unlock other eras, more eras that you can progress towards so that you can grow your civilization bigger and bigger and bigger. During my playtime, I unlocked everything up to the modern era, through the modern era, and then I also completed the Tower of Babel scenario, and then after that point you unlock, I think it's called Ascension Tier 2, and the game becomes more difficult, but you earn more lotuses as you progress. But this is where my personal preferences start to clash with the game's design. I'm generally not a huge fan of roguelike mechanics, mostly because I just don't enjoy starting over. It's like, I don't enjoy the constant new game plus kind of thing, because it's always this balancing act of when do you start over, when do you keep going? And I'm not one for roguelites, and this game is very much a roguelite. There are moments where my civilization's growth slowed to a crawl, and I found myself wanting to ascend just to speed things up and just to go back, okay, let me just make the next one faster, but you can't, because you can only ascend after certain points in the tech tree, such as, for example, the first point you can ascend is after the Neolithic Revolution disaster, which you have to complete in order to unlock the classical era. Once you can do that, you can actually ascend just right after that. But if you're in the middle of an era and you're not at a point where you can ascend, you just gotta power through it, and it kind of sucks, because it's frustrating. Sometimes your growth just slows to a crawl and you just have to kind of sit there almost stagnant for a long time. The game almost nudges you into restarting, but it doesn't always let you do it when you want to. And over time, that friction kind of added up for me. Visually, Microcivilization is very pleasing. The art style is clean, readable, and surprisingly charming. I especially appreciated that the UI isn't just functional, it's actually artistic. Everything feels cohesive and thoughtfully presented. Huge props to the devs for that. Sound design, on the other hand, didn't really stand out much to me. It wasn't bad, but it didn't leave an impression either. For a game that pairs well with podcasts or audiobooks, that's not necessarily a problem. On the technical side, I always have to mention this. I had no issues running the game on my Linux machine. Always a plus for me. Also, I just want to add, this probably should have been at the beginning, but this game is a little over 2 years old. It's from November of 2023, and it's technically still in early access, but it feels very stable and polished for what it's trying to be. It really does feel like the devs have worked hard on this game. Now, on the store page, the developers estimate that Microcivilization will give you 12 to 30 hours of gameplay. Based on what I've seen so far, that feels about accurate. There's definitely more content for me to explore if I choose to keep going, and I just might, because it is actually somewhat fun to play when I have something else to do. Yeah, but that said, at $18, the value proposition feels a bit steep for the kind of experience that this is, at least for me. On sale, though, it becomes much easier to recommend. And I did buy this game on sale. I can't remember what the price point was that I bought it for, but I did buy it on sale, and I would say it's worth it if you're getting it, for at least like 25% off. $18 for this? I don't know if I could justify that. So here's my final take. Microcivilization is a solid, well-designed game that knows exactly what it wants to be. The systems work, the art is pleasant, and the progression loop is interesting, even if it's not fully to my taste. I give it a tacit recommendation, especially when it's on sale. If you're looking for a somewhat mindless strategy game that you can relax with while listening to something else, this might be exactly what you want. Just don't go in expecting a deep, hands-on grand strategy experience like you're gonna get with a full-priced Paradox game, or even something lighter like Civilization. This is not that, and I think it's probably aptly named. This game is more about gentle management, long-term progression, watching systems unfold. It's not about intense micromanagement of things. So, but there's my review of Microcivilization. If you've played it, I'd love to hear. How far did you get? Does the roguelike structure work for you? Am I totally off base with my review? You tell me. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more game reviews. I will see you next time. You to relax.